This is Suburban On Air and Cohen in the City. Here is Mike Cohen.
Welcome, sir, everybody. It's so great to be on your show. Welcome. May I sit in the red chair?
This is your chair now.
George Stroumboulopoulos, come on, what a humanitarian. They said wear black, George will be wearing. I actually am.
It's really soft.
Can you...
But there's hard muscles underneath.
When people ask me in interviews, who's your girlfriend, I say Patti Smith.
It's fine with me.
You have worked with some of the great leading men of all time.
Well, what an honor it is for me to be here in Montreal with George Stroumboulopoulos. Now, first of all, I'm sure we all mispronounce your name. So give me the correct pronunciation. I'm sure everyone messes it up.
Stroumboulopoulos.
Okay.
Yeah. Or George, depending on which one.
Or what about Strombo? Do you like
You can
people
also
calling
call me that. You can call me whatever you want. Yeah, I've been
Okay.
called much worse, so I don't mind.
So, such a pleasure to have you in Montreal. I'm a huge fan. Followed every part of your career, and you're here right now to talk about made new cross-country stories that made us. It's right now. There's been no announcement, but coming soon, we'll find out where we can see it. Tell us a little bit about it.
We set out to talk to Canadians, not just the ones who make the shows and films, but the ones who watch them, about what they loved, what influenced them, what made them, how different you are because of it. And in an era where we are so heavily influenced by outside countries' media marketing machines and the wall of those marketing budgets, we're just really curious about how connected to the actual Canadian stories Canadians were and whether or not they thought it was important for us to tell these stories. That was the idea. That was it. We knew we were going to go across the country and get as much as we could. We were not sure how it was going to turn out and what we were going to find. We didn't set out to prove a point. We set out to explore where we are as a country and a peoples now, coast to coast to coast. And so as time went on, things become clearer to us and different regions, what made us different, what made us the same. It's been a really fun experience.
So, how did this all come about that you were brought in to lead this project in English?
An old friend of mine reached out to me on LinkedIn and also on email and on Instagram and said, hey, we're working on this idea. Do you want to be a part of it? And the idea at the time was just to do some little promos to celebrate Canadian stuff. And when him and I got on the phone, we had a Zoom call, I thought, yeah, we could do that. Or why don't we actually just really do it and go big? And he wanted to do that. And so we met with, the CMF and Telefilm. We all came together and had the same vision, which was let's go see. And I think because I've been doing this for such a long time in this country and in a lot of different ways, they thought I would be the right guy to kind of go across the country and do this.
Okay, so let's talk about some of the people you interviewed. Let's start off with the Prime Minister of Canada, Mark Carney. You've met him before, I know. Yep. I think I saw some clips from your old TV show with Mark Carney he didn't have gray hair even in those days.
That was when he was the head of the Bank of Canada, way back when. That's right. Yeah. Mr. Carney and I talked a lot about, we're sort of the similar vintage. He's a little bit older than I am, but the impact SCTV had on us, and a show called The Hilarious House of Frightenstein, which I think is the best show Canada's ever made. The weirdest show for sure. And so between SCTV and that, we talked about why we thought that changed who we were and what it said about us as people. Yeah, it was quite nice. He was down. Prime ministers are usually afraid to talk. He was not afraid to talk. He was not afraid to be a real person.
What do you think of him so far in his new role as a politician?
I don't endorse parties or politicians ever. Right. I am not a member of any of the parties. Yeah. I want the country to be in a better place.
Yes.
I always do. So whoever's in charge, I aim for that. But I'm outside the political system for obvious reasons, and so I'm curious to see. It's brand new. Let's see what happens. Yeah,
exactly.
But I can tell you this: he's so smart, which we all know, and oftentimes, and rarely do I feel like, maybe not rarely, but in a room of world leaders and business leaders, I want us to have, if not one of the smartest people in the room on our side, and I feel like we have that now. Now, that doesn't mean I have the same politics as him or any of that, but I know we have the smartest person in the room. And so I think that's interesting to see how that will turn out.
Okay, so let's look at some of the other names.
He's a nice guy, and we played hockey together. And
he's a big hockey fan.
Yeah, we did not go easy on each other. We did not go easy. What I liked about him was how competitive he was.
Did he elbow you? Elbows up?
We both put our shoulders into each other. Okay. Yeah, and there was some there were some shenanigans for sure. But you know what? I like the fact that he didn't. The moment the puck or the ball dropped, he was a hockey player. So I really respected that.
Yeah, interesting. So I'm looking at the list. I'm not going to go through all of them, but you've done 27 in-depth conversations with Canadians across the country. So Ryan Reynolds feels like more. Ryan Reynolds.
Ryan Reynolds is this unbelievable advocate for what this country has produced. He is obviously a global superstar, but his connection to this country is so important to him. I met Ryan first long time ago before he was this big, and he had made a Canadian independent film, and you could tell then Ryan was going to be a star, but he never wavered in his connection to this country. And you can live abroad, you can work abroad, but you will always be who you are, and Ryan has never abandoned that. So, and he had some really cool thoughts about why this really matters, and he's so experienced now. He can speak from a position of authority on telling these stories.
Astronaut Chris Hadfield.
Chris Hadfield's maybe the only person in the history of the world who has driven across Canada in an old car, a 60s car, flown across Canada in a fighter jet at 200 feet above the earth. He did that in one day, so the car takes over a week and a bit. The fighter jet, one day he flew across Canada, 200 feet in the air, and then he did it in 10 minutes in a space station. So he has a very unique perspective on Canada. You know, it's funny, we were with Chris at his place, and we were maybe 200 yards from where he watched the moon landing. And he talked about how his entire life was shaped by television. And then across the river where we were, across the water in Sarnia, was where Scotty from Star Trek was from, and the impact that had on him. And then he talked about Canadian television, of course, his impact on shows like The Nature of Things and Discovery Channel stuff. So he knows all too well of how important this Canadian thing is. And I think most Canadians will tell you, not all, but most, and I've done this, when you live abroad in stretches, the further you are from the country, the more you miss it, the more you realize Canada's special and all of its quirks. And he was as far away from the country as you could get. And it really recognized how important this place was.
Absolutely.
He turned into an amazing author, by the way. Multiple best-selling author. Yeah, it's great. Not just memoirs, but novels. Like, it's incredible, his story.
I would have loved to have seen you interview Mark Carney, who left us too soon. A good confidant of mine. I met him so many times. He would have been great for this series too.
Yeah, he would have been amazing. I had him on the old show, I believe.
I'm sure you did.
But yeah, Mark for this series would have been amazing. Yeah. Losing him, and I would have liked to talk to Ken Dryden too.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, and Ken and I just were texting a month ago because he was supposed to come to Montreal. And a lot of big losses, that's for sure. So also Sam Reinhart of the Florida Panthers.
One of the most significant moments in sports television is when a player gets the towel, the Hockey Night in Canada towel, in the intermission interview. Yeah. It means something. And we knew that was a big moment. So Sam came on to talk about how that towel still resonates in the dressing room when the guy gets that HNIC towel. So yeah, we talked a lot about, because Hockey Night Can't. Much Music comes up a lot, SCTV comes up a lot, Mr. Dress Up, Schitt's Creek, but of course, and Little Estobo and Beachcombers, but of course, Hockey Night in Canada comes up a lot because people forget how new this country is, but relative to how new television is, right? This country, fought under its own flag for the first time in World War II. Hockey Night in Canada was a radio broadcast, shifts to television shortly thereafter, relatively speaking, and it was the gathering place that remains today, and Swatitoki in Quebec. So it's a gathering place, and so we wanted to have people who grew up watching it and then got to be on it and then got to hoist the cup on it, right? And so Sam was perfect for that. And what a great guy!
Yeah. I'll just mention one last person, former Montrealer and noted actor Jay Baruchel.
Jay's amazing. I think Jay, no matter where he lives, will always be a Montrealer. Jay Baruchel is as defiant and proud a supporter and advocate for the Canadian film and television business as has ever been. Jay's passion for this country and the stories we tell, almost unparalleled. And I think it was really important to have him. Him and Emily Hampshire came in together. They've worked together in Cronenberg films, and also,
She's also from Montreal.
she is, yeah. And so it was really lovely to hear two actors who are successful, but they're still young.
Yeah.
Talk about their experiences.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So there's also a French counterpart to this series with Rosalie Vaillancourt.
Amazing. We did a crossover episode.
Oh,
Yeah, Rosalie and I, we met up and we did some stuff together.
that's smart.
Yeah.
That's smart.
Yeah.
So just a couple of things before we go. First off, I used to love your show, which was basically the equivalent of a Tonight Show. Kind of, you did like a monologue. You had really interesting guests. That went for a number of years. I think Canada needs a show like that again.
Yeah, I think, that show was interesting because when we started it, I was so adamant not to make it an American late night talk show that we didn't have a monologue off the top. We put some stuff in the middle of the show, little couple opening thoughts. We get to interviews. We came more from news rather than comedy, which I think was, and there were people who wanted it to be more comedy. I did not. And I wanted it to be funny, but not comedy. And I think we did, we had a good run, 10 years at that. Then I'm about to bring something similar to that back.
Okay.
Similar.
That is very, very exciting.
Not exactly the same,
Okay.
but similar.
Okay, that's great news. And the other thing is, people may forget, but for a couple of years, you replaced Ron McLean, and you hosted Hockey Night in Canada. That must have been a dream.
It was amazing. I felt like I finished the game.
Yeah.
I got to host the new music. So the new music on Much Music and previously City TV, that was my dream show.
Yeah.
The new music was the number one show.
Yeah.
I got to do that when I was 27 years old.
Yeah.
From the new music to a primetime news show to my own late night talk show, I was so privileged to have such an amazing run, but also work with the best producers ever. I mean, I whatever success I may or may not have had is as a result of these amazing people I've worked with. And so at some point you sit and think, okay, well, what can I do now? Because I'm not the kind of guy that likes to stay in one spot for too long. And when Hockey Night in Canada presented itself, I'm going to have to do this. I grew up watching that show.
Yes.
Yeah, so it's pretty fun, man. It was quite an experience. Highs and lows, goods and bads for sure. But I put everything in its own context, and I'm grateful for that experience.
So my last question, social media. I've personally fallen in love with Instagram since January. I'm got 10,850 followers, so I'm not at George's level.
What's your Facebook game like?
Facebook now is not as interactive. I don't find it's as successful as it used to be.
Put energy into Facebook.
Oh, I am. I have 6.4K followers on there.
Keep doing it. Keep doing it because, Facebook is sneaky.
Okay.
It's still the biggest, but it's sneaky. Its impact. So I wouldn't sleep on Facebook, but that's good.
Well, I'm not. I post every day. I just find that I'm getting the engagement. But you've got 225,000 followers, and I think, like me, I'm in my 60s, but I've got a lot of teens following me. I think you probably have got a lot of new fans that didn't see you 10 years ago on TV.
Yeah, that's it. People, I love how you have a million different touch points of how you can reach a person. And for some, they used to see me on the shows. Some used to watch me because my interview clips would run before a movie at a Cineplex. Some it's because of Instagram or TikTok, or Facebook or whatever. Mostly Instagram or TikTok in that sense. And I love it. I think I was on the first internet radio station in Canada in 1995 before anybody had ever heard of me. So long before I was on TV, long before I was doing rock radio. Rock radio in Toronto is where I started to interview bands, and that's what got me going. But before that, when people still had 14.4 modems, there was no broadband really, right? There was no Wi-Fi. I was doing a show on an internet radio station. So to me, I have always worked and wanted to be a part of eliminating all the barriers between me and the audience, me and somebody watching or listening. And so the fact that we're here now, it's just an extension of what I've always done. And I love it. I want to remove the big obstacles for this. The fact that you're doing this on our phone, I can hit a button and go live right now. It's amazing. I love it.
Well, thanks for spending this time with me, and I want to wish you the best of luck. We can't wait to watch the series.
I'm looking forward to it. Thanks so much, bud.
All right.
Appreciate it, Mike.
That's Strombo.